Hello, and thank you for volunteering your time with us here at CAPA Closet. Today I'll be walking you through how to sort, organize, and distribute our donated books onto CAPA's shelves. So when books arrive for donation, it's important to sort the book, to inspect them for any damages, odors, or aging. If a book appears to start yellowing around its pages, we do place these aside and we place these in our free book bin in the front of our store. Some other examples of books that would go into our free bin at the front of the store would be any books that may be slightly ripped or torn or appear to be a little bit more well-loved than the others. Now, if the books are not salvageable at all, we do place these books in the recycling bin, but do not trash them. If you do come across a book that's a little bit older, but it may look like it's a first edition, or the copyright date dates back to about the 60s or maybe even before, just set those aside. Example of that. So here, of course, you see the rips, so you see the damages, but when opening it up, if you check the copyright date, let's see this one here, if I can find it, is dating from 1951. So this may be worth more than we know. So we have a lady who checks these books and she'll set those aside to get priced. So be aware of that. Also, if you come across any dictionaries, thesauruses, atlases that may not be current, or textbooks that may be older than 5 years or so, be sure to put those out into the free bin as well. And lastly, sometimes we do come across some books that may not be appropriate to be put out on the shelves. Just be aware of that. We'll just go ahead and put those in the recycling bin as well. All right, so once you have sorted through the books, you then can kind of group and organize them based off on the following genres. So I'm going to read some of the genres that we have here so I don't forget. So we have our paperback fiction, we have our hardback fiction, we have our romance novels, poetry, we have cookbooks, then we sort our art and music books, our textbooks and education. We also have our children picture books, we have our children board books, and then we have our children chapter books. And then we also have a section for the young adults, for the teens. Within the nonfiction genre category, we have politics, we have history, we have health and diet, religion, self-help, home improvement, animals and science, and travel, and we also have biographies and autobiographies. So there's quite a few genres that we sort our books. As you see, I'm kind of here in the back. It's kind of hard to see, but we have lots and lots and lots of books. The label, and depending on what books are needed out on the shelves at the time, you can go ahead and put that genre out. So like I was just saying, we do distribute our books as necessary. So when one genre is appearing to get low, we replenish that particular genre. And just make sure you check the shelves every time you come before you start putting out books, just to make sure there's room. You may grab paperback fiction and you'll get to the shelves and there's no room. So just double check that. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into the store and kind of show you where we organize the books at there. All right, so now we are inside the store. We have several bookshelves surrounding the store here. So I'm going to start with our hardback fiction. As you can see, we have these little tags which are ordered alphabetically by author's last name. So for example, I have this hardback novel by Netzer. So I'm going to come over to the ends and go ahead and put that here on the shelf. As you can see, we do have some space to kind of add some more hardback out today, so I'm going to make sure to go to the back in those sorted bins and go ahead and grab a couple so I can fill the shelves. Moving on over here, we also have our alphabetical order as well, but these are just our paperback fiction. So they go all the way from here all the way around to the corner, ending in Z, which we don't have a lot of Z books. Following down here, there's not any on the shelf, but these are more of like our romance novels, so we organize those down here. So it looks like I'm going to need to add some of these on today. And then below is our classics, and some poetry. We don't get a lot of that, so those are down there at the bottom. Moving over here, we have cookbooks. And then these two shelves are our textbooks, education, whatnot. Over here, it's kind of a modge-podge of things. I've been placing the young adults here on this shelf, and then any extra romance novels we have been placing here. And then our arts and music down here. Again, this isn't, it has to be here, but this is just like our extra space. So then I'm going to take you over to the children's section. Alright, so these do tend to get a little messier because the children are in here kind of peeking through all of the books. But we have our hardback kind of paper picture books here. Soft or paperback fiction picture books here. I do put leveled readers, the ones that are, you know, clearly for the younger ones based off of reading level. I have these kind of in a section right here. And then these two bottom shelves are our board books for our babies. And then coming around the other side, this is more of our chapter books for our older kids. And then following that down here, I just have a lot of the science and the nonfiction picture books and whatnot for the kids. And then below, just coloring books and activity books. And then that's that for the children. And then we have one more area. This is our nonfiction side. We have little Scrabble letters here that kind of tell you where exactly those books go. So here we have our biographies. We also put memoirs and autobiographies within this area. We have some history and military. Those kind of work hand in hand there. Politics, miscellaneous nonfiction if you're not really sure where it goes. This whole shelf is business, followed by health, and then down here is like more gardening, home improvement, kind of science-y books, animals, and whatnot. And then lastly, we have our religious and our spiritual books on these top two shelves, followed by our self-help, which it looks like I have one right here. What should I do with my life? So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the self-help shelf. And then we have our diet and exercise, which kind of goes along with our health over here. And then lastly, our travel. All right, so that's basically our shelving in the store. So when you do go ahead and get your books in the back, this is kind of where you distribute them.